It can all be so simple, baby, but you rather make it home. Loving you is like a battle, and we both end up scarred. Cut. What up, though? Oh, we about to have some fun tonight. I'm about to talk that shit. Hope y'all tuned in. Y'all can come on in, join the party. It's gonna be some fun. I mean, this is nothing but a little bit of friendly competition. I mean, who you got? I'm talking about off top. I'm just asking who you got. Don't even play with me. Don't even try to water it down and ride the fence. Who you got, Lauryn Hill, or who you got, Mary J.Blige My Life? I mean, like this. I could have went with which artist, but no, I said no. I'm about to break it down to the intricate details and just like this album versus this album. I mean, like which album? What's that one? I mean, even the fellas, we can relate to this one, and that's why I chose these two albums too because even the guys, like I say, the fellas, even we like the both of these albums. She dudes can say what they want to say. Dudes was running around bumping My Life. I don't. They can say what they want to say. We was playing My Life. We was listening to that shit. That shit was raw. That shit was deep. Mary was talking that shit. And not to mention, they had the samples and everything. I mean, she was coming from the gut. She was coming from the soul, like on some Aretha Franklin hip hop vibe. Just, I mean, like on a different level. Just like, I mean, the shit was so raw because the shit was. Y'all see how the jump shift already? I come in singing and talking about Lauryn Hill, but I done jumped on the Mary wagon already. That's just that quickness talking shit. But you tell me who you got. I'm just hosting. I'm just talking my shit. You can put it in your comments. Matter of fact, I'm gonna tell y'all now. I'm gonna have a surprise for y'all by next next week. I'll say next week. I'm gonna have a surprise for y'all, especially when we do this show. When we talk this shit on who you got, just that quick. But just stay tuned. Just stay nearby. Matter of fact, go and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification buttons so you can get the alerts or when I do these. Because of course I also do poetry and a couple other things, and I just be doing reactions. I mean, I just be having fun over here, the whole platform. But definitely, if you into these videos with the who you got, and as we do these artists like this against each other, and we conversate about it and have fun with it, definitely subscribe to the channel right now. I'm telling you, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification button. I got a surprise coming for y'all real soon. But then, since it's just me talking right now, let me just go on and just speak on both albums a little bit. Cause I definitely like both. Both albums was, I mean, just through the gates. This was the '90s. I mean, that's arguably like one of the, I say the '70s for me. One of the best decades of music. But yeah, you had the soulful, you got this Lauryn Hill album, this Miseducation. I mean, this shit just came out of nowhere. I ain't gonna say it came out of nowhere because she was plotting on this shit. But let's just get to the point. The timing was perfect for this shit. I mean, for this album to come out. And that's why the title was The Miseducation, because she would just come to just disrupt everything that was just going on with just the whole music scene. And who was who and what was what. It had love songs, had social content, it had rap on it, because of course she rapped also. I mean, it's just a packed album. I mean, all the way from the skits and just the whole, like I say, the whole introduction to where she just coming through the gate letting you know, like, I'm coming to disrupt all this shit. This is the miseducation. Like y'all on this shit, I'm about to come with this. That doo-wop, that was a bad joint too. Man, that X Factor live on to this day. Tell me who you got. Put it in the comments right now. I mean, y'all just skipped over a whole lot of videos or whatever with just by easing by and not saying nothing. But this shit's starting to get thick and real now. I'm here to stay. I'm with the channel here to stay. We here to stay. So just go and put it in the comments right now. We just gonna build. You got the Lauryn Hill Miseducation album. Or if you rocking with Mary J. My Life. I'm gonna get my answer in a minute, but let's scoot on over to Mary then. Because there's already a lot I could say about the Lauryn Hill Miseducation album. Let's talk about that My Life album. And that was some powerful shit also. And I'll tell you why. Because the time it came out, it was a time in hip hop. Kind of like the Lauryn Hill album too. There was a lot going on in hip hop. But see, here's the thing. It had that, I don't even say Diddy. I'm quick to say Diddy. For my era, it was Puff Daddy. It had that Puff Daddy effect on the album too. Because you had the samples. You had the hip hop beats. And again, let's talk about the heartfelt, the soulful shit. I mean, coming from the gut, the things she was talking about. I mean, I throw this out there, especially for our age bracket, and probably even beyond. But I'm pretty sure every dude got that one girl that he'll just talk to about, or just talk about music. And I bet you at least 8 to 9 times out of 10, she's going to bring up how that My Life album got her through something. I guarantee whoever that female is that you talk to, she's going to say how that album got her through something. I don't know what it is about that album at a time, and whether it's older folks or younger folks, but around that time when that album came out, it seemed like everybody was going through it or then went through it or then used that album as the go-to just to get through hardship or get through heartbreak or something. And I'm relating to it because I mean I'm a guy, I'm a man. I'm a full-grown man, and I done synced it so many times. Like I say, even as a man, as a guy, we was playing that album too. Because on one hand, we'll play some of them songs just for the female, just to kick it. Because it had that little lineage of rawness and uncut. So we was into it. And especially if you were a music head, you was already into it because it was borderline hip hop already. Like I said, the timing was just so good. But while we're playing this album for women, later on in life, those same women or that person you will meet later on in life, they're going to reference back to that album. Even still to this day, women still go through it or went through it off the My Life album. So that's why I want to equate it to the Lauryn Hill, to the Miseducation. I want to see who you got. Again, put in the comments. Tell me why and which album you choose that was better and for what reasons. I mean, just feel free to just go in the comment and chime in and just say, like, which album you roll with or which one you think was better. I mean, on the production end, if I have to say, on the production, how can I explain? I mean, we all know, like I say, the Diddy effect, in my life was full of some samples here and there, you know what I'm saying? You had different samples, but they still were just good. You had the Royers, Was it Isaac Hayes? She has so many. Like I say, I mean everybody know that whatever Puff Touch he's sampling, he gonna revamp it and just turn it into hip hop. But mostly everything he didn't touch is a sample. I mean, let's be clear. If you're a real music head, you already know anything he got his hands in. At least 95% of this is a sample. So there you have it on the production side of the game. But the words, the message, I think we have to give it to Lauren for the consciousness. Now, if you got a conscious bone in your body, and if that's a real factor on making this decision, I have to say you'll probably have to go with Lauren because look the way she stood in, look the way she just filled in the blanks of. It's funny how money changes situation, all that. I mean, everything is everything, all that. Forgive them, Father. They don't know what they do. And it was definitely talent the way she was mixing the rapping with the singing. That's talent. So I guess on one hand we gotta give Lauren a little bit credit too because she's a writer. She's a writer. Was a writer of lyrics for rapping and singing. But even though Mary, she probably didn't write. Let's just face it. I mean, a singer, we don't have to hold that much against them if they didn't write the song. It's not like being a rapper if having a ghostwriter. So that's another category we can kind of play with a little bit. But the way Mary sung that shit though, the way she sung that shit from the gut. I mean, let's just face it. Let's just face it. That's the Mary we love. Even though we don't know what's going on in her life now or then, but the way she was spitting that pain, we was able to correlate and think, okay, she's going through this. Even though she was exposing some things in her life and some things that she was going through, we do know Mary have a past, a dark past or some things, and then we do know right now she's in a brighter space. I mean, these are things that we publicly known that she's shared. These are not straight up assumptions. So I don't want to speak on that woman's life like that. But we do know when Mary was going through some things, when she was sharing with us, that the music was a little bit more heartfelt and soulful, that pain. I mean, why do we attract to that? I think about that sometimes too. I mean, even when I do my poetry, see how I throw my shit up in there. But even I think about poetry, when I share, when we sharing something, even as artists, anybody, when you sharing something, you sharing that pain. Those are the things people are going to relate to because it's raw, it's real. I mean, pain is pain, hurt is hurt, a feeling is a feeling, an emotion, all that. And I ain't gonna even lie to you, while I got y'all right here tuned in, I gotta work on that also too. Because I write that shit, but I know if I spit that shit with that pain, or if I see, I ain't no overactive or dramatic ass person. You know what I'm saying? But I'm kind of thinking to, I probably do gotta get into character with some of that shit a little bit more, spit that shit like that. Pain. It's funny, I'm sitting here in this actual moment talking about these two women, talking about how I can relate it to what I do. I mean, it's the same thing Pac and other artists, Face or whoever, the people that spit that pain, who spit that emotion, it kind of bounce back to a stronger feeling of a connection. So even though I got my monotone style or whatever, and I just kick it on some laid back shit, when it comes to certain pieces, you might have to just dig a little bit deeper. And that's where I come full circle to what me talking about this Mary. She was spitting that pain. It kind of took you back to that Aretha Franklin. It took you back to that whole social essence of Okay, I'm alone. That Phyllis Hyman, that whole, I mean, whoever, whatever artist you could think, when they spitting that shit like that, it's like, it's no way to just turn away from it. It could be the simplest words, but when they spitting it with an emotion, it's going to connect. And like I said, I'm sitting up here talking to y'all and telling y'all this. It's funny. It's funny within the eyes. I can see it as somebody else, but I don't translate and push it out myself like that because it's no such thing as overdoing it because I don't want to be in character. I mean, the message is the message. But did it kind of translate to how Lauren did it? Lauren, she didn't spit that pain like that, but her message still got across. That's the perfect example. Now that I think about it, that was it. Lauren didn't. She didn't spit that pain. And y'all know what I mean when I say spitting that pain. Y'all from the hood, y'all from around the way. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You can hear that grunt in the voice. Lauren didn't do that, but she still got that point across when she was saying that profound shit. She was just talking to you, but she still got her point across and all the messages. But it was a couple of songs though. She got that grunt, that X Factor. She caught that grunt. Then the one about her son, that can't take my eyes off you. She got that grunt in that. I mean, you can hear it, man. I can just imagine how her son or them kids feel when they listen to them songs now. That gotta be some powerful shit. I mean, just think about that. This is 2022. Just think if you listen to a song and you a kid and you hear your mother talking about how people wanted you to abort your kid or not have your kid. Then that same song you alive and listening to, knowing you that soul that probably wouldn't have been here if your mother thought a certain way or cared about this industry to not partake in that, you know? There gotta be some powerful shit just to sit back and be like, damn, Ma, you did that for me. You know? I mean, just something to think about. I mean, because music is timeless. Even though it's in a time capsule when it's created, but the way that it translate through time, all the people that played a part and when these things was created, everybody can have a story. I mean, even Mary. I mean, I know y'all see me bouncing all over the place. I'm talking that shit about music. I'm caught up in the moment right now. Just deal with me. I'm talking that shit. I'm jumping from music to music. That's what I, trust me, rap talk me more than one thing, trust me. So just look at Mary, think about that. How I just said that same thing about Lauren when she was going through the thing with her kid. Just think about Mary now when she created that album. You have to think to yourself sometimes it might be probably hard. And I'm just assuming now, because I'm an artist too, and I'm just thinking to myself, because sometimes when I look at things I write, it might take me back to a place to where, you know, it take you back to that moment when you was creating that shit, you know, especially when you do it from the gut like that, or when you write and create from a certain place in that moment and from a real emotion, no matter where you at in time, if you go back to some of that shit, it's like you can find yourself reliving the moments, you know what I'm saying? If you gotta be careful. So did what I was getting at. Just imagine how Mary might feel sometimes when she listened to them songs and think of the dark place she was in or the dark spot she was in or what she was going through when she created that album. I mean, knowing how many people it touched and knowing she could never like just walk away from it and not do some of them songs when she performed. But it's like you surpassed that and you might be in a better place, in a better position in life. But that album still is gonna be there and follow you no matter all your life. You still gotta go back to that person when you made it, at least like mentally for the moments. So I can just imagine sometimes when you just sit back, or when she just sit back and probably play some of them songs and relive certain things, probably mentally. You gotta be a strong person to do a lot of that shit. I mean, because it can't hit you either way. Anyway, like I said, though, who your guy? Who you got? I mean, oh, playing. Quit playing. Who you got? Y'all ready for me to say who I got? You ready for me to say who I got? Lauryn or Mary? Right now, today, right now at this moment, what did I say? Shit, what will I say right now? I say my life. I go with my life right now. I say my life. And the reason I say my life is because it was hip. It was longer. It was a longer album. I mean, the way the album hit. I say Mary. What's the comment right there? What would you say? Because that You Bring Me Joy was my life. First of all, I'm a big Roy Ayers fan too. I'm a big Roy. That my life. That was my shit. You gotta believe I'm going down. I gotta go with Mary today. That's just me right here today. Just speaking off the top. Like I say, that Lauryn definitely is a classic. I will go with both, but right now at this very moment, I have to go. And then that Be Happy. Come on, this is like borderline gospel. Some of this shit she was talking about. I mean, how can you choose? I mean, like these. Then it don't go with the guy sample. I told you that Diddy effect. Puff. He be on what he be on, but he's a sampling ass. But when he sampled that and created, like I say, damn near every song on here is a sample. All that. Yeah, I have to go. I have to go. I gotta go. I gotta go with my life right now. I never wanna live without you. That's a bad motherfucker too. That was man. She was on some shit. But I'm glad she overcame and got through all that she went through. Because it was just so many ways that you could just, like I said, you could play it, but going through heartbreak, going through just emotion. It was like just a theme song. It was like just a theme album just for women. Just somehow, I don't even know how that shit just even caught on like that. I really don't. But the way this album caught on, it just carried on just over time. It's probably arguably one of her best albums too. And she got a catalog. And I guess that's probably why you might have to get with the Mary too a little bit. You know, Lauryn, she didn't have a catalog like that. But even though that Miseducation, that is killing some albums though. That album, she ain't take much. She kind of like on some Biggie shit. Low key, Lauryn, she like on some Biggie shit. It didn't take too many albums. It's a guest appearance here and there, some songs here and there. You know, she had the Unplugged, of course, and on the foods and all that. But that Miseducation, honestly, too, that's another thing I want to throw in here, too. I can see why she don't want to fuck around and be in all this shit they got going on right now. Even though it's pressure, I think she got that pressure, too. Even if she do make music around her house and in her basement and all that stuff, or for her friends, I mean, cause come on, let's face it now. Even though she ain't released nothing, she's an artist. I mean, let's be real. She gotta be still making some songs. She's just not gonna release them or put it out or go through the whole ordeal of going through deals and doing interviews and all this pressure and all the things that come with a release of an album. She probably don't want to do all that, but let's be real. I'm pretty sure Lauryn Hill got some songs that she's been made currently. I mean, if not, probably the last couple months, sometime this year. She done made some songs. She sit around and play and create something, but the whole business thing and the whole way deal, she probably don't want to deal with that. And then plus the pressure also too. I mean, let's just be real. How is you gonna follow up that album? I mean, it's too much pressure. I think her and 3000 go through that. You know what I'm saying? Andre 3000, that is from Outkast. It's a lot of pressure when you just been good and you be away for so long. All you're gonna do is just put too much pressure on yourself even more to where you like, I can't put out shit that's gonna top that. At least they smart enough to know it they self. And I'm pretty sure it's pressure. At least they know, like, let me just back away from it. Let me just calm down and chill and let that breathe. Let that be. That's legacy. It's legacy. Let me just not even tamper. Ain't no reason to come out with no Miseducation Part 2, or try to ride the wave of that album that came out 25 years ago or whatever and try to recreate it. So ain't no use trying to do that. So it's pressure, you know. But again, who you got? Tell me who you got. I just want to put that out there. I hope y'all enjoy it. I got something coming up for y'all too. Like I said, make sure to tune in, hit the notification button, and subscribe to the channel. And what's so funny? Shit, tomorrow I might wake up and think to myself about a whole bunch of stuff that I didn't even say in this video. And then I probably think to myself like, damn, Lauryn Hill shit better. That's the crazy part. Because Lauryn did have a message. She had a message in her shit. And like I say, the timing was just perfect. The whole social climate. I mean, like she was talking about rappers, talking about singers, talking about the industry. She basically was giving people a warning she was about to leave if you really pay attention and listen to her. Because she was basically lining herself up to say, like, y'all ain't even what I'm, excuse me. She was basically lining herself up to say, like, y'all ain't even what I'm on. Y'all just don't know. I'm dropping this album, but I'm really about to disappear. It kind of was decoded like that low key because she just came like, okay, I'm about to just disrupt for a minute. But I know I'm probably not about to be here that long trying to play this mental game with y'all. It's really not for everybody. I ain't even there. But on the outside looking in, you can just look and tell and see like it ain't for everybody. I mean, some of us want to just create and be compensated for our talents and let's let that be that. I mean, that's where I'm at with it. Look at me. I'm sitting on my damn couch just spitting out poems and poetry every other day and letting it be, let what it's gonna be, even though we gonna have some structure to it and we do got goals with this, but as far as what y'all probably think we chasing, or I'm chasing, I'm not chasing that. The message gonna be the message. And I'm sitting right here. And like I say, I would love to be compensated for my talents. Whatever. That's why we have merchandise and stuff like that. Or I mean, it's about being comfortable, especially when you're independent. You can do it at your own will. When I set up and just thought about this, and I was about to just create this video of having Lauryn versus Mary, and just the idea that I could just bring to fruition and just do it right on the spot. No approval. But But it is what it is. Tell me who you got. I'll get with y'all on the back end, though. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Rap Talk. Appreciate y'all. Who you got? Write it in the comments. Feel free to subscribe to the channel. Appreciate y'all. Who you got? Who you got?